We're coming up now on some rides on Dragsters, the Colton and Long Beach drag strip. These were filmed back in 1960. We're going to go on board Hayden Proffit here, working on his car. We're at Colton drag strip, going for a ride. We mounted the camera on the roll bar. I have another version of this on my Santa Ana, so these are condensed down. This is not the full shot. So if you bought this video and you have the Santa Ana one, you're not going to see the whole thing all over again. This was the condensed version. We're running Colton, as I mentioned earlier. And Colton didn't have a lot of shut-off area. If you didn't get shut down by the time you got to the edge of the asphalt, you ran up over a hill into a sand and gravel pit. So most of the drivers, they were very careful about making sure they didn't run out of asphalt and go up into the gravel, because if you did, you had major problems getting that out of the car and possibly get it into your engine. The car we're running on right now is a good 155, 60 mile an hour car. It's got a small block Chevy in it, 471 blower, runs a 2-speed transmission. Make one more run going forward, then we turn the camera around. Now, I played around with the camera speed once in a while, so these two were all shot normal camera speed. There's no playing around with the camera as far as trying to make them appear like they're going real fast. What you see is what we're going. We'll make about 2 more runs here, then we'll move over to Long Beach drag strip. We'll make some run on Hayden's car, and we'll also put the camera on the twin-engine car of Howard Cam's. That 2 side-by-side Chevy engines. And Glenn Ward was the driver on that car. The same car Jack Crispin drove at the 61 Winter Nationals and was top eliminator, national champion. Here we decided just to point the car backwards for the fun of it. And again, this is normal speed. This is not sped up. Car torques just a little bit to the side. Got a 2-speed in this, not a high gear only car. And there's no parachute. At Long Beach on the Howard Cam car, though, they did run a parachute. You'll see that coming up in the next couple of minutes here. We're going to have one more run on it, Colton, and we're racing a little flathead dragster. I might add that the car we're racing now is not John Bradley. John Bradley ran a flathead dragster back then, and John was one of the top cars in the flatheads, and he put together many a car running Chrysler engines was a little flathead. He dominated the Colton drag strip for top eliminator. So this is just a little flathead dragster that had the poor luck of having to run against Hayden on a elimination run. From here we go over to Long Beach drag strip. At the Long Beach drag strip, you'll notice as we go down the strip, there's poles along the side of it. That was a bad deal. Everybody tried to get Long Beach officials to take them down, but to no avail. And it was a bad track to run on with the poles there. It had a lot of shutoff area, and the trick was run by Mickey Thompson, very well run. Mickey knew what he was doing, and he put on some good events. But the poles, you can see them off on the right, the upper right. They lined the drag strip, so if you got in trouble, you really didn't have too far to go, and you were going to clobber one of those telephone poles or light poles. We'll make a couple runs on Hayden's car, and then we go over to the twin-engine car of Howard Cam. All these runs are at 150 to 55, and Hayden ran gas. The lever you see in the lower left corner, that's his brake handle. And there we just crossed, right there is the finish line. Long Beach had markers on the side of the drag strip, like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. When you got down real far, close to the end, you can see how much you had left by looking at the marker. That's me turning the camera on. And we're on board the Howard Cam twin-engine car now. You'll see the parachute open up at the end of the run. This car has 2 side-by-side Chevys. Each engine is opposite of the other one. They're run by, one is mounted to the left, one is mounted to the right. They spin a common flywheel. Now this car was running 165/70, and they're going to pop. See how far he went before he popped the parachute, and he still had track left. Still had plenty of track left to get shut off in. Just a little general shot of the pit area. Long Beach had a nice lot of pit area, so it wasn't really jammed up. Plenty of room to work on the car. and not have to fight your way to get up to the starting line. Now here we are facing forward down the twin-engine Chevy car. Glenn Ward was doing the driving here. Glenn Ward and Jack Crespin were about the two drivers that really could handle this car. It was a wild car to handle, and it took a lot of guts to get in this car because this had a lot of weight to it. And you didn't get squirrely on this car, and you couldn't go sideways in it. You'd go end over end if you lost it. I think we wiped out another movie camera we were running on this car also. But along the camera dealer replaced about 2 cameras for me. And then he finally said, "You're doing something besides shooting family pictures with this car. I'm not going to replace it anymore." We're going to ride on board this car on elimination run there pretty soon. He's racing somebody. And you never do see the competition. It was pretty much a side-by-side run. The smoke of the tire from the other car, that means he was right up beside the car when they were running for top eliminator. That's me again, getting the camera going. I almost got my jacket caught on a roll bar on this car. And went for a ride down the drag strip with it. You'd have been picking me up with a sponge, I think, after the race. I reached over to turn the camera on. Oh, if you look in the right lane, you may want to back up on it. And you'll see smoke from the competition. And you never did see the car, so that was a good match run. I think the Howard car ran. Good race and won it. But the competition, we didn't catch who it was because he never came into view. He was right side by side the twin-engine car. Long Beach had a curfew. If you weren't done with a certain if the track wasn't done with elimination by a certain time, everything was shut off, and if you had any races left to go, the competitors went back in the pit area, and they had to flip a coin to see who got the trophy. They had to shut down, I think, by 4 o'clock, and that was it. You couldn't have no runs after a certain time because of the housing. Because sound at night really travels. The air gets kind of damp, and it travels. And there was a lot of housing and industrial stuff in the area. They complained about the sound, and they were allowed to run just so far. Then they had to go back and flip a coin, draw a high card. Now, we ran right to the edge of the drag strip on that one, to the shut-off area. This fella driving Hayden's car had never driven this car before. So he said, fine. He makes a run about 140. Now, later on, we mount the camera in front of him and face the camera toward him. He didn't like that idea one bit. He says, well, what if the camera comes off? I said, well, we'll replace your face mask. Oh, great. He said, what about my face? I said, well, don't worry about that. We'll take care of that for you. There's a lot of good plastic surgeons floating around out there. And all kidding aside, he did not like the camera mounted in front of him. We had to put about 2 more straps over the camera. Now, the blower cuts in about 100 feet out. Watch his face. You'll see him grimace when the blower cuts in. Right there. Supercharger kicked in, and now he's hanging on. Unfortunately, he was having a little trouble with his steering wheel and he covered his face up a lot. But you can still see that he was having trouble controlling the car. And he turned about 140, 45 with this car. That's him on the far left. He said, hey, that was a piece of cake, Hayden, no problem. So Hayden says, well, I'm glad you like that. He says, well, I'll go ahead and make a run. And I asked Hayden if it was okay to leave the camera in front of the car. No problem, so we get a run with Hayden in it. And Hayden winks at the camera. Here's another shot of the pit area real quick. Now, the run with Hayden will be our last run at Long Beach. After that, we go to the Riverside International Raceway, where C.J. Hart put on some quarter-mile races after Santa Ana shut down. So this is Hayden Proffit. This is our last run on the Dragsters right here. Hayden ran 155 on this run.